Freya's unusual wedding. The almighty and powerful god of Asgard, Thor, laid his head to rest after a long, hard day's work. That night, he dreamt of his best friend and partner in crime, Mjolnir, his trusty hammer that gave him insurmountable amounts of power. With Mjolnir by his side, he was invincible. All creatures feared him, all gods respected him, and no threats were ever posed to Asgard or Midgard. In the middle of the night, Thor woke up with an awful thought that made him breathless. Where was Mjolnir?
No! Who could have done it? It had to be Loki, that selfish, womanizing demon. I always knew he was jealous of me. I mean, look at me. My gods, how could he? Maybe I need to get into the mind of a criminal to understand one. Loki, you will never believe what's happened to me. Someone has stolen Mjolnir.
Is that so? I suppose I could help you.
Keep in mind, Loki is the most cunning and manipulative god of them all. However, this time his intentions were true. But not for the well-being of Thor, for the well-being of himself. To ensure that he and Asgard were always protected. In search of guidance, Loki pays Freya, the goddess of love and gold, a visit.
Freya, you look great. Did you do something to your hair? Or how about that necklace? Wow, what a gem.
Ugh, what in the name of hell do you want, Loki?
Nothing, just to pay my favorite Vanir a long overdue visit. Okay, well, I need your cloak.
What? My cloak? No.
You might want to rethink that, my dear.
No need. I hardly, if not ever, change my mind, and I am definitely not one to say the same thing twice. So you may show yourself out, and it's always a pleasure, Loki.
Well then, I tried. I guess Ragnarok and the fall of Asgard and the Nine Worlds will just have to be on you. What a shame.
How do you mean?
Mjolnir is lost, and now the god of Asgard is, well, unemployed at the moment.
Ugh, fine. Take it. But it better come back exactly as it was given to you. Understood? Loki gave Freya his word, which made her even more hesitant about the fact that she was entrusting him with her most prized possession. Loki took off and set off on his quest to find the keeper of Mjolnir. Loki's first stop was the world of Aesir, or the world of the giants.
Hello, ogre!
Sir!
I come from Asgard, and my land seems to be in a terrible bind.
You don't say.
Yes, someone has stolen the almighty Thor's hammer, Mjolnir. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
I might. But first, tell me, how is Freya? Is she really as beautiful as they say?
I mean, I guess, if you're not into that.
I am, you know. I may have been the one who stole your friend's beloved Mjolnir.
Well, good sir, I can ransom the hammer if you'd like. Name your price.
My price? No price, just Freya. Yes, I would like to marry Freya. Bring her to me in 8 days, and I will give you the hammer.
Well, first off, who might you be? Ogre?
Well, Loki, son of Laufey, I am Thrym, Lord of the Ogres.
Well then, Thrym, I'm sure we can arrange something. I will bring Freya to you in 8 days.
Loki took off with Freya's cape and flew back to Asgard to tell Thor the news and propose a plan. Loki landed at the court of the gods, and upon his arrival awaited an angry Thor.
Where is it, Loki? Tell me what you know. I don't trust you, never have. So tell me what you know in this instance before you've had the chance to plot and plan.
Loki smiled at Thor's anger and innocence.
The Lord of the Ogres, Thrym, has stolen your hammer. Now, luckily, with my charm and wit, I was able to convince him to hand it back, but it comes with a price.
What's his price?
Freya's hand in marriage.
He only wants her hand? Huh.
Thor felt hopeful. After all, Freya had 2 hands, and he was almost certain that he could persuade her into living with only one without sparking too much of an argument.
No, all of her, Thor. He wants to marry all of her.
Oh, yeah, she won't like that. Well, you can tell her the news. You're better at persuading people to do things than I am when I'm not holding my hammer.
Freya, love, how are ya? I brought you back your feathered cloak.
Thank you. So, did you find out who stole Thor's hammer?
Indeed, we did. It was Thrym, the Lord of the Ogres.
Ugh, that ugly thing? Heard a nightmare. So, what was his price?
You. He wants to marry you.
Freya nodded. Thor thought it was a positive sign that she hadn't rejected or even reacted to the idea. So, he decided to seize his good fortune before it was too late.
Alrighty then, Freya. Put down your bridal crown, pack your things, and let's get moving. You've got a wedding to get to. You're going to the land of the giants to marry Thrym before he changes his mind. I want my hammer back.
Freya said nothing. She stood silent. Thor was unsure on whether or not this was another good sign or a sign of misfortune. Soon enough, the ground started shaking. Freya was mad. What kind of person do you think I am? Do you think I'm that foolish, that disposable, that I'm someone who would actually marry an ogre just to get you two out of trouble? If you think that I'm going to the land of the giants, that I'll put on a bridal crown and veil and submit to the touch and the lust of that ogre, that I'd marry him, well. There was a deafening and terrifying silence. The room shuddered. Get out. Get out! Loki and Thor were left in despair, with no hammer, no dignity, or plan to hold on to.
So, now what?
Later that day, Loki called an emergency meeting for all gods in the Great Hall. All important matters were discussed, with the most important being the loss of Mjolnir.
Ideas! People, I need ideas! How are we going to get Mjolnir back?
That day, 1,000,001 ideas were shared, and all but one were rejected by Loki. After hours of discussion, Heimdall, the god who oversees and watches all things, made a proposal.
What about you, Heimdall? You're the only one who hasn't spoken yet. Any ideas? I mean, I have one, but you're not gonna like it.
It doesn't matter whether or not we like it. We are gods. There is nothing that any of us gathered here would not do to get back Mjolnir, the hammer of the gods. So tell us your idea. If it's good, we'll like it.
You will not like it.
We will like it.
Well, I think we should dress Thor as the bride, stuff his dress, veil his face, make him look like a woman, and have him marry Thrym. And when the time is right, he'll bring out the hammer, Thor snatches it, and voila! Asgard is restored!
Ugh, I don't like it.
It's brilliant!
On the day of the wedding, every goddess in Asgard pulled through to help Thor get ready for the big day he never thought he would have to prepare for. But Thor wasn't the only one playing a part. Loki, too, was forced to disguise himself as a maid to ensure everything at the wedding but the ceremony went according to plan.
6 hours later.
Upon Loki and Thor's arrival, Thrym's sister was anxiously waiting to greet her new sister-in-law.
So this is the most beautiful woman in the world? Doesn't look like much to me. And when she picked up her skirt, it seemed to me that her ankles were as thick as small tree trunks. Oh no! A trick of the light is all. She is the most beautiful of all the gods. You just wait and see. Now where is her groom? Where's the feast? She's so eager for this, I have barely been able to restrain her.
Thrym's sister led Loki and Thor to a dining room which beheld a feast prepared for kings, and Thor was more than ready to eat. While Loki was careful enough to eat scarcely, Thor ate an entire ox, 7 salmon, and every pastry that came his way, which arose quite a few questions in the minds of the guests.
Amazing! I've never seen any woman eat so ravenously.
There is an obvious explanation. You see, she hasn't eaten in 8 days. The poor thing! Because, well, she was so keen to come to your land and make love to your new husband. Now that she is in your presence, she is finally eating again. It is so good to see you eating again, my dear.
I should kiss her.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. Not now, anyways.
Before Loki could say any more, Thrym was already leaned over, lips puckered with one huge hand ready to reach for Thor's veil. Loki, or the maiden, put out her arm to stop him, but it was too late. By that time, Thrym had already stopped making kissing noises and had sprung back, startled.
May I speak with you for a moment?
Why, yes.
Loki and Thrym walked across the hall.
Why are her eyes so terrifying? It seems as there's a fire burning inside them.
She hasn't slept for 8 days and 8 nights, mighty Thrym. She was so consumed by love for you that she dared not sleep. That's what you're seeing in those eyes, burning passion, and that's true love if you ask me.
I see.
They walked back to the dining room.
It is now time for the wedding. Bring the hammer to sanctify the bride. I want to see Mimir plays on beautiful Freya's lap.
It took 4 giants to carry Thor's hammer. With difficulty, they placed it on almighty Thor's lap. For the first time in days, Thor felt power surging through his veins.
Now, let me hear your beautiful voice, my love. Tell me that you pledge yourself to me as you're my bride, as women had pledged themselves to men, and men to women since the beginning of time. What do you say? What I say is that you shouldn't have taken my hammer.
Thor hit Thrym with the hammer once, which was all it took to make him and all the ogres before him fall to their knees. Back in their original forms, Loki and Thor stood more victorious than ever over the giants of Aesir.
Let's go home?
Let's go home.